Welcome. Today we're going to go over the lathe, and there's many different things you can do on the lathe, but today we're going to be working with turning stock that's square and how to turn it round and then actually shaping it. And this is going from the head stock to the tail stock. So you're actually going between spindles. All right. This is our tool support right here. This is what we'll be resting our chisels on. If we go over here, this is a very nice lathe. What we have is, it's digital, so we're going to turn it on. All right, and you can see here, I can then dial the speeds on it. So right now I'm up to 24, 25, 26 RPM. All right, and depending on the stock that you're doing, will dictate the speed that you're going at. So what we're doing is we are under 2 inches. So when we're here and it's under 2 inches, when we're roughing it, we'll be at about 15, 20. And then when we get it into our shape and we're shaping it, then we'll be at about 3,000 and then finishing 3,000. So depending on the size of the stock, will be the speed that you're going to go at. And you'll get all that through the book. I'm not going to go over all the different sizes and the speeds, all right? So what we want to do is we're going to go over and look at a couple pieces. All right, so the first thing you need to do is find the center of the piece, and there's a lot of different ways to do that, all right? What we're going to do is just put this into a vise, and the easiest way to find the centers of anything is cross your corners. So if I want to find the center of this room, I take 2 strings, go from corner to corner, I'll find dead center. It's very easy to use a back saw. So all I'm going to do is go from corner to corner, and all I'm going to do is pull it towards me, get a little groove. Once I have the groove in there, I can then make a little slot. Now I'm going to go the other way, and that will give me my center. This is not necessarily the easiest way to do it, but a lot of people will do this method. Pretty easy. Let me show you an easier way. We're going to go over to the bandsaw. Now sometimes you might see a demonstration where the person holds this up and is just going like that. Not safe. So what we're going to use is a V-block. So all I'm going to do is line that up. It doesn't have to be real exact. All I'm going to do now is just go in. I'll turn it. Now the piece that we have is not 1.5 by 1.5. It's pretty close to it. You can see that this is a little thinner than that. So what we want is a ballpark on the center. So we're going to come over here, we're going to mount it. Again, here is the headstock, and this is actually what's spinning. The motor's over here. And this can move. So if I wanted to, I could bring it out here. I could be turning a really big bowl. So it's outside here. But right now we're not going to do that. But you notice what we have is this is going to line up, and this is what's going to grab it. We are doing pine. Pine is not a very strong wood, and sometimes it splits. So during the demo, we might lose the piece. So this is going right in here. All right, so the grooves are lining up right with that. So that's coming right in there. That's going to lock it in. And then what I'm going to do is pull down the tail stock. I'm going to bring this back. All right, we're going to bring that forward. And there we are. We're now into the centers. I'm going to lock the tail stock down. And now what I want to do is I want to bring this in. And this is going to bring some pressure. It's going to push into the teeth. And sometime during turning, it might loosen up. We might have to readjust it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this in, and now I'm going to tighten it. Now what I want to do is I am going to get my piece lined up here. And what I want to be is I want to be right around the middle. And I want to get as close as I can to this without hitting it. But you can see by that, when I spin it, it's going to hit I need to pull this back just a little bit here, and now I have a small gap, but now watch. When I come to the thinner side, I have a bigger gap. That's okay right now. We're going to turn this so it is round. And so I'm going to go to the closest part first, and now I'm going to lock it down. Now all I need is some tools. Let's go and check out some of the chisels. Run with me. So here we have one right here. All right, this is a round nose. This is your gouge route here, and I'm going to show you it will come in different size ones. This is a parting tool, and again, you're going to read all about this in the book, and here's a skew. You want to keep them nice and sharp, so we're now going to go back over and we're going to start to turn some things. But come over here with me. I'm going to show you. I am pretty quick at turning, but these are what your projects you're going to do. So the first thing we're going to do is turn something, and we are going to take it to 1 1/4 inches. Once I have this roughed out, and you can see pine splits a lot. All right, so here's one finished. It looks pretty good, but this is in the rough stage. And then what I'll do is lay out my measurements, and we're going to go over that so I can turn from this to this, from this to this, from this to this, from this to this, and there's one more that you're going to have. You'll have a total of 6 that you're going to do. So this is what we're going over, and I want to go over this. This is a great diagram. It took me almost a month to do. When you are scraping over here is when you're going to take the tool and go straight in. And when you're cutting, you're going to be up at an angle. All right, and I'll go over that with that. All right, we're going to hang this on the wall for you. Now, I had said before, what is the speed? We're roughing this. We're just going to bring it down in. What was the speed that I want to set it for? Can anybody remember? All right, it was 15, 20. So we are going to go on, turn it on. And what we're going to do is dial her up. She's a little high there. Let's see how close we can get. Doesn't have to be exact, but we're going to try to get it as close as we can. And that is good right there. Now, when we do this, all right, it is going to get messy, so sometimes you want to put on an apron. I like to show off my mess, so I'm manly. Remember, when you are, any machine, eye safety. Now on this machine, the lathe, sometimes a piece might fly off, so I'm not only going to have my eye safety on, all right, and mine are bifocal, so I need that. And then I'm going to bring my shield down. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're ready to go to work. Here we go. We're going to go on here, and what we're going to go on, and it is square, and we're going to make it round. So what's going to happen is it's going to start to hit. I just want to show you what we're doing here. It keeps pushing me back because I'm hitting corners. I haven't hit anything over here yet. So you got to take your time on this. You don't want to be rushing it. So I'm going to slowly get in, and my centers might be off a little bit, but from center to center, I'm going to eventually make this perfectly round. Wait till it to come up to speed. How many of you think that that is round yet? It looks pretty round, right? Wrong. You're going to have flat surfaces here. We haven't even gotten it round yet. We still have one flat surface. It's going to look like it's going to take a little bit to take it down. We're going to start one way and slowly work all the way, and then I'll come back to this again. Wait till it get up to speed. You're going to find a little different. Do I like going to the left? Do I like going to the right? You're going to find what is working best for you. There's different techniques. So now on the corner, I'm going to come in on the corner and go out to it. If I go in this way, I might split it. Again, I'm dealing with pine, very soft wood, but it's nice to practice on. Cheap. Another thing that I like to do, see how all these flakes are coming off? What you can do is just a little mist bottle, and I'm just gonna mist this. I don't wanna get it all over the machine. You're gonna notice it will change the flakes coming off a little bit, and they'll just drop. A little less messy, huh? Let's take a look and see how round we are. Looking good there, looking good there. Oh, we still have a flat spot. Although it was looking like we're round, we are not. We're gonna take it down a little bit more. Then what we wanna do is we're getting ready. We're gonna take this down to a 1 1/4 inches. So I'm gonna take my calipers and I'm gonna set this. So we are 1 1/4. So now what I want to do is I want to be taking this down to that. You can see I'm no good. It's still a little too wide. So back to the drawing board now. I also want to check to see how tight this is. Again, this is pine. I have stopped it. I'm going to be moving this up a little bit. And what I'm going to do is loosen this. I'm just going to tighten it just a little bit more, because I don't want that to come flying off. I'll move this, and again, I'm going to bring it in a little closer now. Now I'm pretty close to round. So I don't want that gap too far so the tool can go in. Again, I'm going to spin it. I shouldn't be hitting, so I'm good there. Lock it in place. All right, let's take a look. I'm pretty close. That should just come over it. So I am real close, and now we are totally round. So now I want to take it down. So this is what I'm going for. I'm trying to get to my right size that I want to go on. Now you notice this one right here is not cutting very well. It's coming off. If you're having this issue going on, this is not sharpened correctly. After a while, you have to sharpen those, and we'll go into that later on. Now watch the difference. I'm going to switch out and go to this one. It's the same tool, just one is sharp and one is not. Big difference. Save a lot of time. Again, I want to check this. I'm taking it down to a certain one. I'm almost there. That's just barely off on it. So now I'm going to go to a different one here, and now I've roughed this down. All right, now it's nice, it's round. I am now going to increase my speed a little bit and clean it up. I'll go about 25 right now. Now remember, I just needed to take it down, and all I am is cleaning it right now. You're going to notice it's got a lot nicer, a little smoother, and I am right there. A little high right here, and a little high right there. I am right there. Good right there. So here I'm high, and here I'm high. So what I like to do is mark it. So I'm just hitting those spots, and you'll see those when we turn her on. So we just have two little areas where we're just going to take her down just slightly. Right there. Let's see how we did. Still a little high just right there, but that is pretty good. Right here and right here. My magic wand, so I know where I'm going. Just touching that up, that should be good. Beautiful, right on. I'm just getting just a little bit, I feel it. So I can now take this out of my way. And now what I'm going to do is sand it. So I'm first going to start off with some 80 grit. Now I'm going to go to 100 grit. It's hiding right under it. $150 grit. And I actually went out of order. That was 120 and now 150. All you got to do is take it up to 150. I can feel that now, and that's just like a baby's bottom. Smooth, smooth, smooth. So there we got it, and that is my handle. So from now, okay, now I just sanded this. This is the first one you do. Now we're going to put on another one, and then what we're going to do is put down where we want the pieces, where we're going to shape it. Okay? We'll pull this puppy off. So we're going to loosen this. Pull that back, tailstock. So now we have our piece right there. nice and smooth. I just made a dowel rod or a handle. We'll hopefully be doing mallets this year too. So let's get another piece ready to go on. Line that up. And if this is sticking on you, sometimes what I like to do is just put a little WD-40 on it. This should move very easy. So again, what I'm going to do is come up to my center, and then I'm going to spin my wood. I'm hitting right here. I need to back that off a little bit. You turn that on and it hits this, it could come flying off. Always check to make sure you have a space between it, and then lock it down. Okay, now, remember, I'm old and senile, so what's the speed that we need to reset this for? Remember, we had it up higher. You don't want to be roughing it at this high speed. We're going to bring this down again. No speeding tickets. And we want to get it to about 15, 20, ballpark. 15, 10, perfect. Just going to move a little of this out of my way, just so I have a better foot grip. We're right on. So now I'm ready to go. I'm not going to sand this now. What I want to do is lay out where I'm going to make my cuts. So if we were doing this one first here, what it is 1.5 inches in, and it's dead center at 5. So what I would do is come in 5 inches. There's going to be my mark. You'll see that. And then I'm coming 1.5 inches from my end, and 1.5 inches from my end. And then all I'm going to do is I'll just taper this down. This one right here, what we're doing is I'll be setting, because I've already set this is the right thickness right here. We're going to take this down to 3/4. So what I would be doing is resetting this for 3/4. Let me put it here so I can stabilize it a little better for you to see. And I'm right on there. So that's what I'm going to be taking that down to. I got my marks now. So now I'm going to take this down . So I know there's my mark. that I'm taking that down to, and I'm going down to 3/4. Now I can just take this one down. I know I can go down all the way to that mark. Here's my mark again. I'm just going to take a look, see how close I am to that. So I'm going to come in here and, oh, look at that. I am truly amazing. That's perfect. That was very lucky. So now I'm going to go down and take these other ones down. I'm just going to, it's a slow taper to down there. So this is a very, very easy one right here. All I've done is just taken that down, take this off, and then I'm ready for sanding. Go back, I'll start with my 80. Can take a look on that. So all sandpaper does is put scratches in it. So now I've taken that down. I can take a little bit more here just to smooth it just a little bit. I go from my 80 to my 100. Some people will like to put a board underneath it. You can put your hands there, it will get warm. Go to my 120. And I am going a little quick for you, so you don't have to sit and watch me for hours. And there we go. So there's your first piece done. I'm going to loosen it, back it out. I just made a clone. So now what we're going to do is set up, we've done this one, now we're going to just do the opposite. So what it is setting up in here's 1.5 inches, so the center is 5, so it's 3/4 either way, and 1.5 inches here, and we take it down to 3/4, right? So we're not going to go over that one, that's just very similar to that. What we're going to try to show you is, now this would be the next one, this is straightforward. All right, so we find our middle, and what we're going to do is it is 2 inches, 2 inches, 2 inches, 2 inches, and 2 inches. By the way, your pieces are 10 inches. Do the math. So what I want to do now is take my measurements. So I'm going to go 2 inches, 2 inches, 2 inches, 2 inches. So I have that down, those are my lines, and I'm going to go in. Now I want to check my measurement on that. I am going to be setting this up for 1/2 inch. Excuse me, we're setting it for 3/4 of an inch. So you're taking that down to 3/4. Oh, and that is looking pretty good. It's just off a hair, but I'm going to come and clean it up. So now I want to come in here. I'm just going to come straight down in. And we are almost right on the money. I'm just going to take it down a little bit. Got to remember, you're going to sand it. So if you go crazy sanding, you don't want to have this perfect. We want to be just slightly big and take it down. So that's my nice and clean. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the calipers, and now I'm taking this to 1 inch. So I'm going to take these down to 1 inch. That will be my next one that I'm going to go do. There's my line. I want to sometimes, okay, I'm going to go show you, I'm going to go in and use a parting tool. So I know I'm going to take down right in there. Same thing in here, I'm going to come in. I now have my straight edge. I'm going to come now and take these down. My eye is telling me those are pretty close. We'll take our calipers. Oh, and look at that. I am unbelievable. Now, you notice you're gonna have chip outs, okay? There's nothing we can do on that, that's just the pine. So now I can come down and clean these up, and then I'll be ready to go in and sand. Done deal. We're not going to go over sanding, but you've seen it before, so I'll start off and I'll just go straight down on those. So you can see it rough and then sanded. Now what we're going to do is set up. This is what we're doing here. So this is 3/4, 1/2 inch, 3/4, 1/2 inch, 3/4, 1/2 inch. So we start off with, now we're going to see how good your math is. We went, so this is 3/4 right in here, and this is your 1/2. So we come in our 1.5 inch where we're starting with, and then come over, and you'll have all these down on a paper. So there we have those. Make our lines a little darker so we can spin it. So what we're doing is we're taking out the 3/4 So this is just like what we did before when doing these, but smaller. And then what I'm going to do is round them over. So I'm just making these coming down in here. So all I want to do is I'm trying to get my straight edge going down in. Now that I have my room in here, I can now take these down. And now all I want to do is start rounding those over. So I'm going to take these down in. I take it so it's straight, and then all I'm going to do is a round over. This one here, I still need to take it down. I didn't take that one down. And then slowly gonna round them over. So now I'm finishing up the rounding. Looking pretty good. And then remove your tool guide. And now I'm going to come and do my sanding in here. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going right in here. Take those down. Okay, I'm not going to go through all the different ones, but here we go. You got it down sanded. And there is your next piece. Okay, you're going to have a little chip outs. That's okay. We're dealing with pine. You know, ideally it would be a nice maple or a harder wood where you won't have chip outs. Okay, we're going to set up one last one. All right, now we've taken it down to our size. We have 1 1/4. And what I can do is go off of our plans, take our tape measure, measure it out. So I would be going 1 1/4, 3/4, 1/2 inch, 3/4, 1/2 inch, 3/4, or, oh my gosh, I can tell I got some of you baffled there. All right, we're going to work on your math and your measurements. So I could just take my pattern, put it on there. So I'm making sure I'm starting and ending in the right spot. So all I'm going to do is make a little mark where my measurements are. This is kind of cheating, but let me tell you, it's much easier than making a few mistakes. So if you're having a hard time measuring, this is a very easy way to do it. So now I have my little marks there. So now what I can do is I'll draw my lines. All right. Then you put your guide back in. Remember, where should that be? I'm hoping that you said in the middle. I think that's what you said. And what I'll go is go on. So you can kind of see my lines. I'm just going to make them a little darker. It is always good to then double check your pattern to what you're doing. So now I have my 1 1/2, 3/4, 1/2, 3/4, 1/2, 3/4, 1/2, 3/4, 1/2, 3/4, 1/2, 3/4, 1 1/4. I am ready to go. Now, we've already done this one over here. Now we're going to go on here. Now this one here is really easy. We have our 1 1/4 here. All I'm going to do is these pieces right in here. Get our speed down, shield down, ready to go. You notice I'm taking it down in the middle because it's going to come up to my ends, my lines. I really don't take anything off there. taking my time, just coming up, touching that line, coming back down, slowly coming up. I want to just come right to that line. Remember, just like when doing a joint, leave the line. Good thing I didn't just take it away there. I would have been in trouble. Come up just to the line. Now I'm going to check my measurements. I set my calipers, 3/4 of an inch. Hopefully you can see that. And I'm going to check to see, and I know I have a little ways to go on that. And we're right on that. That one's perfect. These ones are just a little tight, but I'm going to sand them down to that. Now we're going to sand it, starting with your 180 grit. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to make it round. Another way that you can do it is you can kind of cheat if you have a dowel rod. Unfortunately, this is a 1-inch one. If I had a 3/4 one, it would be perfect. So I'm just going to be careful a little bit to take that in. So I could just go right in with this. On to your next one. All right, and you don't need to watch me sand all the pieces, but you take it all the way down to 180. And there you have it. I look forward to seeing your pieces.